This video is a brief tutorial, but feel free to stop the video and work on any of these exercises, building more reps and endurance as you continue your health and exercise program. The 8 Brocades are not the oldest form of Qigong, but they are one of the most popular and well-known series. There are hundreds of variations, but they always get divided into 8 stretching and strengthening exercises. Legend has it that 8 layers of brocade fabric, specifically silk, were used as an effective protection underneath chainmail armor that was used to make combat easier than with the less cumbersome and heavy, stiff lambeller or plate armor. 7 layers were not enough, 9 were too many, but 8 was enough. But silk was also costly, and it was usually high-ranking officers that wore it. Many soldiers, as well as many martial artists, became familiar with the 8 brocade exercises. Here is my version of the 8, with some modifications and variations. Although there is no particular order to the 8 brocades, owl looks side to side is an excellent starter because it slowly works the neck muscles as you turn your head from side to side, keeping the head horizontal. You can have your hands down at your sides or resting on your kidneys and back, or you can wave them gently from side to side as long as they do not block any of your vision. Owls can turn their heads 360 degrees. Humans can't. But you should work at extending your range of motion. Breath work can include inhaling, holding the breath until you reach the other side, exhaling, then inhaling and holding till you get to the other side. Since this exercise is slow and untaxing, you can work your peripheral vision as you turn your head, again without moving the head up or downwards. With your eyes, trace the ceiling or sky in one direction, and trace the floor or the ground in the other direction. The name The Archer is pretty self-explanatory. Form an L with each hand. One L will be the bow, the other L will be the hand that pulls back the imaginary bowstring. Start in Wu Chi or neutral position. Take a side step. Let your weight flow to the front leg. Then as you pull back on the bow, the weight flows to your back leg. Keep the elbows up. Variation. Starting from a horse or a wide stance, squat and then rise as you pull back on the bow. Repeat to each side, or at least until you run out of arrows. Priming the pump or the bubbling spring. Imagine drawing energy from the earth through the balls of your feet. My version has 3 parts. Part 1 is simple calf rises, hands at the sides or on the kidneys and the lower back. Once the calf muscles are worked, then it is on to bouncing without the heels touching. If the heels touch, go right back up to jiggle. This wakes and shakes up the musculature. Part 3 is lifting the heels up and then dropping, letting go and dropping. Not pushing downwards, just a natural drop to shake up or gently jolt the skeletal frame. The very best place to do this exercise is outside on good old Mother Earth. But if she's cold and covered with snow, indoors will have to do. Skip part 3 if you have joint or knee issues. Bear, or bear turned side to side. In a horse stance, with your bare paws, I mean your hands at your side, or in front, or resting on your quadricep muscles, do a half circle or half moon, and then turn or twist to the side as if you were a bear and you're scanning the ground. And then you hear a noise behind you, and you look to see what's going on. Do not go so fast you get dizzy. Do not twist so far as to put pressure on your knees. You're working your oblique muscles. If you have high blood pressure, keep your head above your heart. Variation. This bear rotates all the way around, making sure that you go in both directions. Again, not too fast. Punch with an intense stare. Again, this is pretty self-explanatory. There are 100 ways to punch. Continuous returning fist, reverse, step forward, Shaolin punch, parry to the side, and parry with both hands. Try not to get punch drunk. Separate heaven and earth. Keeping your wrists as flat as you can. One hand's going to push on the sky or the ceiling. The other hand's going to push on the floor or the earth. We're separating heaven and earth. Separate both sides. Now we're going to blend heaven and earth. The hands cross at the heart, and you can sink or squat as much as you're ready, willing, and able to. Here's a variation of this. The upper hand will always swoop down, and then you blend. Swoop down, and then you blend. And make sure you do both hands swooping down. Bending down, touching the toes. Not a very exotic name. Of all the 8 brocades, this has probably got the most variations. I call mine the elephant. So standing with the feet close together, get your hands in prayer position. Go down nice and slow with no bouncing, jerking, or locking your knees. Go to your own personal threshold or benchmark. Trace the back of your legs, come up one vertebrae at a time, lean back, put the tongue on the roof of your mouth. Lift and hold heaven. Feet are shoulder width apart. Mesh the fingers as long as your wrists are up to it. Raise above over the head, follow it with your head. Sorry about my hands going out of frame. A variation is to form a triangle, especially if you have wrist issues, and swoop to the side. Form a triangle, and then look through it. Swoop to the side. You can keep that triangle up there, rotate 3 small circles in each direction to continue to work the obliques. Or you can go to the side and work the obliques.